Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description. So the war ended. And quite happily. Of course, there were losses. Many good people died, but they fought so that their families could live in peace. Their memory will always live. After Naruto and Sasuke dispelled the eternal Tsukuyomi, a 3-day mourning for the dead was declared. It should be noted that the weather corresponded to this. It rained for 3 days, almost without a break. It seemed that the sky was mourning the departed. After the mourning was over, they began to celebrate the victory. They celebrated the victory for about 10 days. The weather changed as soon as the mourning ended. A bright sun came out from behind the clouds. It felt like someone had specially pressed a lever in honor of the mourning and it started raining. But as soon as it ended, they pressed the lever again, and the sun came out. But of course, it was a coincidence. Tsunade decided to give up the Hokage post and live her life to her heart's content. She didn't make that decision right away, but about a week after the end of the war. She decided to appoint Kakashi as her replacement. Of course, he wasn't really happy about being Hokage, but the man couldn't refuse the last of the Sannin. They would probably have all agreed to appoint Naruto to the post, but he was too young, they needed experience. The blonde wasn't indignant about it, calmly accepting what the 5th Hokage told him. It looked strange, with his character, but after all the events that had happened, the guy had changed. No, he still remained positive and smiling, he would never refuse to help his friends. But he no longer fooled around, he became more responsible, less loud. Sasuke spent some time in the hospital, healing his wounds. Naruto, too. Sakura looked after both of them. In general, if you think about it, this war changed everyone who took part in it, at least a little. Uchiha spent about a month in the hospital, and when he was discharged, the post of Hokage was already occupied by his former mentor. The guy wasn't jailed only because he helped dispel the eternal Tsukuyomi. And, of course, Kakashi and Naruto were involved. Today was the day he had to leave. Standing near the exit of the village, the brunette said goodbye to his teammate and the 6th Hokage. You were not imprisoned only because of your help, participation in the war, because you helped dispel the eternal Tsukuyomi. But also say thank you to Naruto, he is considered a hero. And of course, as the 6th Hokage, I put in a good word for you. So I hope it will not occur to you to do stupid things again, Hatake said, looking his former student straight in the eyes. No, you don't have to worry about that. Are you sure you want to leave? We're in the village now and your help wouldn't hurt, Sakura turned to the guy. I think you can manage without me. I was given a second chance, and I want to use it correctly. I want to see the world with my own eyes and understand what is going on in it. Then, it would be stupid to ask if I can go with you. The pink-haired girl was a little embarrassed. This is my path, I must walk it myself. Sasuke came closer to the girl and did something she did not expect. He tapped her forehead with 2 fingers, just like his older brother once did. Next time. Thank you for everything. He said the last 2 phrases with a barely noticeable smile. After that, he walked away from the slightly shocked green-eyed girl and, having said goodbye to those with whom he had once been on the same team, headed towards the exit of the village. They only watched as the silhouette of the Uchiha moved away. Having walked quite a distance from the village, he noticed his best friend near a tree. And I thought you weren't coming, the brunette said, grinning. We probably won't see each other anytime soon. And I don't want you to forget that you have a home where you are always welcome. And about those who are waiting for you. That's why I want to give you what is rightfully yours. The blue-eyed man handed his protector to his friend. Of course, Uchiha was a little surprised, but he still took the thing and then hugged his friend tightly, saying goodbye to him. He also smiled. He had definitely changed, too. And it should be noted that for the better. Of course, he didn't smile often, but when saying goodbye to loved ones, he still couldn't stand there with a stone face. The smile, although barely noticeable, still made his face beautiful. And it was a sincere smile, and not like in the last few years, when he smiled, he looked like a madman. After the hug, the guys silently went their separate ways. I'll miss you, come back soon, Uzumaki thought, walking towards the village, which had already been completely restored during the war. I will definitely come back here, the last of the Uchiha clan thought, as if reading his friend's thoughts. About a year had passed since the war ended and Sasuke left the village. Sakura threw herself into her work, as the hospital needed help, as there were many wounded after the war. The pink-haired girl was glad that she was loaded with work. That way she thought less about Sasuke. The girl missed the brunette very much, but tried to shove all her feelings deep inside. She was also sent to other villages to help there. Lately, the workload had eased. Haruno tried to spend more time with her loved ones. She began to communicate even more closely with Naruto. Sometimes, on a rare day off, she sat with Ino. By the way, she noticed changes in her friends. Yamanaka told her that she had recently gone on a couple of dates with Sai. Yes, I know, it seems strange that Sai asked the girl out. But more on that later. Also, Naruto seemed to have fallen out of love with the pink-haired girl. At least the green-eyed girl noticed that his attitude towards her had changed. No, he didn't start to communicate coldly with her, quite the opposite. It was just that something had changed in his gaze. It was as if he was looking at her soberly now. Ino and Uzumaki were the medic's closest friends. They knew almost everything about her and supported her in everything. As already mentioned, Uzumaki had changed a little. Now the guy became more serious, and when Six gave him easy missions, he did not get upset. He himself did not fully understand how it happened that something had changed in him. I guess he's matured, he thought, pondering his behavior one day. He was honored and respected all over the world. The blonde, like his girlfriend, immersed himself in his work. He tried not to think about what had happened in the past. Sometimes, on weekends, his friends would gather in some cafe and talk about what had happened to each other. Naturally, he was there too. Only Hyuga rarely attended these meetings. She probably wouldn't have come there at all, but Kiba dragged his girlfriend to the meetings for her to unwind. And the reason for this behavior was that she still could not recover from the death of her brother. She felt guilty. She did not disintegrate in the war only because it was necessary to concentrate on victory, otherwise it could have ended badly. The Byakugan owner also avoided Uzumaki. A couple of times the girl saw him on the street and became an unwitting witness of how girls ran after him, as it used to be with Uchiha. From such pictures, her soul became even more sad. Any chances of winning the guy's heart were immediately discarded. All hopes were destroyed. Why would he need her, a gray scruffy woman, when so many beautiful girls were running after him? After reporting after another mission, Uzumaki left the Hokage's residence and headed to the cliff where the faces of the previous village heads were carved. It was not difficult to find himself at the very top of this cliff. The hero liked to sit here, watching the evening Konoha. Usually there was no one here and you could enjoy the peace and quiet, as well as think about your life. Imagine his surprise when he found his old friend there. Right in the place where the blue-eyed man usually sat, Hyuga was sitting. She didn't notice him right away, only hearing a rustle. First she shuddered, and then turned around. Seeing that the object of her affections, and now not only hers, was approaching her, the brunette jumped up from the soft grass. Hinata, hi. Don't be so scared. It's just me. Hello, Naruto-kun. I just didn't expect to see you here. I can say the same thing. The shinobi smiled and began to approach. The owner of the Byakugan was feverishly thinking about what to do next. While she was thinking, the guy came up close and sat down on the grass. The brunette continued to stand. You know, she finally broke the silence. I think I'll go. Before Hinata could take a step, a strong male hand firmly, but carefully grabbed her right hand. Please stay, Naruto asked. Unable to refuse the man she had loved since early childhood, the girl sat down next to him. Do you often sit here? The guy asked, feeling his girlfriend sit down next to him. I haven't seen you here before. No, this is only the second time I've come here. And you? Every free evening. Agree, Konoha is beautiful, especially in the evening. You're right. The clan's heiress was a little nervous next to him. Hinata. Why? The hero of the world fell silent. Why what? There was a barely noticeable tremor in her voice, but Uzumaki didn't notice. Why do you come to our meetings so rarely? I don't know, I think I have nothing to do there. What do you mean nothing? You're our friend too. Tell me. Isn't this all because of Niji? There was silence. An awkward, oppressive silence. Naruto already regretted starting this conversation. Perhaps. After a long time, Hyuga finally answered. Are you still not over his loss? I have to go. The girl stood up abruptly and quickly retreated. To her great joy, Uzumaki did not stop her. Stupid idiot! How can you ask such a thing? Of course she hasn't recovered. Hinata still blames herself for it. But she's not guilty of anything, she'll definitely have to apologize. The blonde scolded himself for his mistake. He didn't catch up with her, realizing that it was better for her to be alone now. There was an insistent knock on the door. At first I didn't want to open it, I just wanted to lie down and sleep even longer, but the person who came was very persistent. Damn, who's brought me there? Will they let me have a proper rest? Reluctantly opening his eyelids and somehow getting out of bed, Naruto trudged to open the door for the unwanted guest. Opening the door, the blue-eyed man was able to see the third Hokage's grandson standing on the threshold. Konohamaru? What happened? The owner of the house asked, rubbing his eyes and yawning. The Hokage is calling you. Well, my God! I just got back from a mission yesterday. What barbarity. Brother Naruto, I'm sorry for being so early and for waking you up, but you won't contradict the Hokage. It's okay, thank you very much. You can go. I'll be there soon. Having said this, the blonde slammed the door right in front of the boy's nose and went to get ready. It took a little time to get ready, and in about 15 minutes the shinobi was already approaching the village head's office. On the other side of the corridor, Sakura, just as sleepy as he was walking. They approached each other right next to the door of the sixth's office. Did they call you too? The pink-haired girl asked, yawning. Yeah, the guy answered in the same tone. Knocking on the door and hearing the invitation, he entered, followed by Haruno. What they saw there shocked and delighted them. Sasuke! Naruto rushed to his friend and hugged him very tightly. He, of course, hugged him back. After the guy stopped hugging, a girl approached the brunette. She also hugged the one who had returned, but not as tightly as the blue-eyed one. Are you back already? The hero of the world asked in surprise when the hug stopped. Yes, and now for a long time, or rather forever. The day after Uchiha returned, Naruto invited him for a walk, citing that he hadn't seen him for a long time and missed him. Of course, Sasuke agreed. So how is the world? I am satisfied. Really? I'm shocked. It's not often that Uchiha Sasuke himself can be seen happy, the blonde laughed. The brunette couldn't help but smile back. And of course, they were heard. Some girl flew out from around the corner and screamed. Here he is! Right next to her. Out of nowhere, a crowd of the same girls formed. They ran screaming straight at the guys. Your mother! Naruto shouted and ran away. Sasuke reflexively rushed after him. And not in vain, the girls had already managed to recognize him as the most handsome guy in the village once. He simply ran after his friend and did not notice how soon they found themselves in the place where Madara and Hashirama had once sat. It was in this place that the founder of the village came up with the idea of creating Konoha. It was quiet here and there was a view of the entire village. Wow, the whole village is in full view. And it's beautiful here, thought the last of the mighty clan. Beautiful, huh? Said Uzumaki, who had caught his breath. Yeah. Do you come here often? Almost every day, if not on a mission, but I like to come more in the evening. The city at night is even more beautiful. Wow, listen, what did you do again that made them so angry? They even started shouting mine at them. Oh, get used to it now. They haven't given me any peace since I returned from the war. You mean these are your fans? Well, yes, the blonde sighed. But if these are your fanatics, what does this have to do with me? Well, you are also a hero of this war, especially since you had fans before. I was hoping for a quiet life, Sasuke muttered. We all had hope. Shikamaru, Kiba, and even Shino, they don't give us a break either. And the others too. But most of all, they terrorize me. I'm so tired. Suddenly a teammate appeared in front of the guys. Naruto, I knew you were here. Sakura-chan? Did something happen? No, the Hokage is calling you. Well, okay, I'll be there soon. The girl immediately disappeared. Both guys noticed that the pink-haired girl didn't even say hello to the dark-eyed one. And both pretended not to notice. Sorry, Sasuke, Naruto scratched the back of his head. I called you myself, and now I have to leave. Come on, the Hokage is calling. Without saying another word, the hero of the world disappeared just like their teammate. Uchiha remained in place. Kakashi-sensei, did you call? Yeah, I did. You have a mission. Together with Hinata. You're going to Suna. For what? Kazekage asked for help. Okay, when can we leave? In 2 hours. In the meantime, you can go. Naruto silently turned around and headed towards the exit. As the boy was about to open the door, he heard the voice of the current head of the village again. Wait. I was thinking, let Sakura and Sasuke go with you. Gaara asked for more people. Warn them. Okay, having said this, he nevertheless left the office. Uzumaki decided not to delay and immediately went to warn his teammates. He found his best friend in the same place where he left him. Having warned him, the blonde asked him to find Haruno and notify her, while he himself went to get ready. The brunette wondered where the person he was looking for might be and came to the conclusion that she was most likely in the hospital. And he was not mistaken. The green-eyed woman really was in the hospital. Sakura! Sasuke called out to the girl. Huh! She turned towards the direction the sound was coming from. Sasuke? Sakura, we have a mission. We have to leave in 2 hours. Okay, thank you. The student of the last of the legendary Sannin turned around and ran away. She's kind of strange, she used to give me no peace, but now she acts like she doesn't know me. But he didn't know how difficult it was for the girl, she still loved him. Pink-haired was thinking about something completely different. It's hard, why is it so hard to see him? Probably because I still love him. But this love becomes stronger and stronger with time. And this is bad. I will never get reciprocity. I will avoid him as much as possible. 2 hours passed. At the appointed time, everyone stood near the main gate of Konoha. Well, is everyone ready? Asked the fourth son. Yeah. Everyone nodded in unison. Then let's go. The four shinobi left the village and ran towards the sand village, where Gaara was waiting for them. Perhaps this mission will give them a lot, or maybe it's just a delusion. The team traveled to the village of Pesca for 3.5 days. During this time, everyone who was heading there barely spoke to each other. Only on business, although the blonde tried to stir up his friends. Then he got tired of it, and the guy calmed down. When they finally arrived, the Kazekage met them personally. Gaara, it's good to see you. Naruto hugged his friend without holding back his emotions. The red-haired man simply shook hands with everyone else. I'm glad to see you all too. Where's Shikamaru? His mind will be needed too. He couldn't now, he was on a mission, Sakura said. I see, so let me walk you home. The head of Suna led the new arrivals to the house where they were supposed to live for the duration of their stay here. They didn't walk long, about 10 minutes. While talking, they didn't notice how they found themselves near a small 2-story house with a red roof. It turned out to be quite cozy inside. 2 rooms per floor, plus a kitchen, bathroom and toilet. Listen, Gaara, you haven't explained what our help consists of, have you? Uzumaki came to his senses. Idiot, how can you talk about such things on the street? Sasuke said. You rest for now, I'll tell you everything in detail in my office. But I can't start without Shikamaru. So you have time to rest and walk around our village before he arrives. Fine. After saying goodbye, the Sand Shinobi left. Everyone entered the house. What are we going to do? Asked the blue-eyed man. I think I'll stay at home, said Sakura. Me too. I'm tired. Sasuke also decided to stay home. I'll probably take a walk around the village. I don't want to sit at home, said Hyuga. Then I'm with you. I don't want to sit at home either. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and the Byakugan user have left. The rest dispersed to their rooms. I guess I'll take a shower, the pink-haired girl thought. The girl took everything she needed and went to the shower. Once there, she undressed and got down to business. At this time, Uchiha also decided to freshen up. The guy entered the bathroom without knocking and froze. His teammate stood with her back to him and did not notice him. The black-haired man silently looked at the naked girl. His pants quickly became tight. She's not bad. He undressed, climbed into the shower too, and put his hands on the green-eyed girl's waist. She shuddered, turned slowly, and screamed as she began to fall. The uninvited guest immediately caught her. Damn, I scared her so much she fainted. Sasuke got out of the bath with his teammate in his arms and went to her room. Listen, Hinata, let's go to the movies? Naruto-kun invited me to a movie? Am I sleeping? Oh, okay, the red-haired brunette answered. The couple walked through the village and finally found the local cinema. There were about 20 films available, but both of them, without thinking, decided to go to the same one. The one that told about Jiraiya's difficult fate. When the guys bought tickets and went into the hall, Hinata spoke. Naruto-kun, don't you think it's strange that Jiraiya-sama is from our village, but a movie about him was filmed here? No, my teacher was a great shinobi. And I think it's normal that they made a movie about him here. And in our village they've already made 5 movies about him. After that they fell silent and turned all their attention to the screen. It must be admitted that the film was quite interesting. It was a documentary. After the film, they went for a walk further. The slightly tired girl asked the blonde to sit down in the park. Hinata, you didn't answer me then. Do you blame yourself for Niji's death? The hero of the world reminded, sitting down next to the brunette. I don't want to talk about this topic. She turned away. Hinata, stop it. It's not your fault. No guilt? She slowly turned to face him again. How come no? I hate my clan for these stupid traditions. Why should some die to save others? I'm alive only because I was born in the main branch. And he hasn't had time to live a normal life yet. Niji sacrificed himself, protecting me. And all this because I was born the heiress of this damn clan. Little by little, everything that the gray-eyed girl had been saving up for a year began to come out, and transparent paths ran down her cheeks. Hey, what's wrong? The Jinchuriki moved closer and hugged Hinata. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pick at your wounds. But you know, I think he saved you for more than just his duty to the clan. Any brother would have done the same. Hugging the girl and stroking her head, the blue-eyed man calmed his friend. The war has changed everyone, he thought sadly. Sakura woke up in her room, already dressed. Opening her eyelids, the girl sat up in bed and began to remember what had happened. When the full picture came together in her head, she quickly blushed. At that moment, the culprit of her fainting entered the room, also dressed. How are you feeling? He asked coldly. Bastard. The 5th student screamed and threw a pillow at the guy. He dodged it reflexively. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing, you perverted slut? A pillow flew at the guy again, only this time a different one. And again he dodged. But when a kunai flew past, he got angry. Somehow instantly finding himself next to his teammate, he pushed her and laid her on her back. Pressing the girl's hands to the bed, and firmly, Uchiha hissed right in her face. Now calm down. Or I'll kill you. Don't act like a jerk, I know people like you. That's the only way they give it to you left and right. And I think you're no exception. Whether from fear or resentment, or because the brunette was so close, Haruno froze, looking into his eyes. Let me go, she whispered. Not so fast. Sasuke leaned towards her face, but then a bang was heard in the hallway. Naruto and Hinata returned. Sighing, the black-eyed man finally let go of Sakura and, getting up from the bed, left the room. Hidden Leaf Village. Hokage's residence. Village head's office. Kakashi was going through his daily routine papers as usual. Oh, how tired I am of these papers. And how did Tsunade endure all this? He thought wearily. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Come in. Kakashi-san, Sai entered the office. I wanted to ask you something. Ah, Sai, is that you? Come in. What did you want to know? Kakashi-san, I heard you sent Team 7 and Hinata to the Sand Village. Did something serious happen to them? If so, I'd like to go there too. No, everything is fine with them. But why then did you send the strongest team in the village there? I have my own motives. And no one should know about them. But, Sai, I said everything. Then shall I go? Yes, go. The slightly dissatisfied artist left the office. Lately, he had begun to slowly understand and even feel what human emotions were. Perhaps this was largely due to Ino. After the former ANBU member left, another one immediately appeared in the office. Still sorting through these papers? Let me help you. Thank you, otherwise I think I'll spend the rest of my life sorting them out. Listen, Kakashi, what are these motives? The copy ninja chuckled. Are you that interested? The guy was right. So answer. Okay, but this will stay between us, Yamato. Yeah. I think these guys need to figure out themselves and the relationships that connect them. Do you think this will help them? Think. What did you tell Gaara? The truth, and he supported me. I see, and what about the strategist? Why did you send him there? At the request of the Kazekage. Knock knock. There was a knock in the room, and 3 seconds later a blond man entered. Sakura, still thinking about yesterday, about Sasuke's actions, didn't even notice her friend. Sakura-chan, I wanted to ask. Noticing the girl's state, Naruto fell silent, but a minute later he spoke again and spoke louder. Sakura-chan, what's wrong with you? Sakura-chan. Huh? The friend's voice finally brought the green-eyed girl out of her thoughts. Naruto? What are you doing here? What's wrong with you? Uzumaki ignored her question. Were you crying? No, why do you think so? Your whole face is swollen, and your eyes are red. Oh, you mean that? So it's an allergy. Sakura got out of it. But why don't you eat your miracle pills? I ate them, but they haven't had the desired effect yet. I see, but are you sure everything is okay? Yeah, right. What did you want? I wanted to ask for a headache pill. Why? Do you have a headache? No, it seems like Sasuke's temperature is rising. Naruto, you idiot! Why didn't you tell me right away? Well, The kunoichi reached over to the bedside table and pulled out a small bag from there. Unzipping it, she pulled out 2 small white pills from there and handed them to the blue-eyed man. Here, give it to him. If he drinks it now, he'll be as good as new in 10 minutes. Aren't you going to examine it? No, the allergy hasn't gone away yet. I don't want people to see me like this. Understanding what his teammate was getting at, the guy nodded and left the room. When Naruto left the room, the pink-haired girl stood up and went to the mirror. A pretty girl with a slightly swollen face was looking at her from there. Sakura returned to the bed and took her purse again, taking out some herbs from it, took a small cup that was right there on the nightstand, mixed them, carefully, very quietly went out into the hallway and quickly ran to the kitchen. Having poured water over everything that she mixed in the cup, Haruno waited about 5 minutes, and then applied this entire mass to her face. If I leave it on for 10 minutes, then 5 minutes after I wash off this mask, the swelling of my face will go down. Having done everything she had planned, the 5th student carefully, so as not to be noticed, went out into the street. I think it wouldn't be bad to take a walk around the village. I'm here very rarely, after all, I need to take advantage of the opportunity, because this village is very, very beautiful. First, the green-eyed girl went into a small cafe and ate. Then she went for a walk around the market, buying herself several bags with various trinkets and things. She completely forgot that she had just recently been sad because of Sasuke. Having walked around and received a bunch of positive emotions, she decided to go home, but then she met the Kazekage's sister with her friend. Shikamaru, you've already arrived, and we've all been waiting for you. Yes, here, I just arrived. Damn, I didn't even have time to rest properly, and the 6th immediately sent me here, the strategist drawled a little discontentedly. Don't whine, you'll still have time to rest, Tamari said sternly, but seeing the guy's indifferent face, she smiled. Where will you live? Asked Haruno. We wanted to put him up with you, but there's no room in your house, and he won't sleep in the kitchen. So he'll stay with me for now. I see. The pink-haired girl smiled almost imperceptibly, but it didn't escape the eyes of Konoha's laziest shinobi. Why is she smiling? It would be fine if it was Naruto, always thinking about something about us with this slightly bitchy blonde, but Sakura, where is she going? Although what difference does it make? Nara thought tiredly. Okay, Sakura, sorry, we'll go. We still need to go to Gaara. See you later, said Sabaka. No? Yes, of course. See you later, the medic smiled. Having said goodbye, they went their separate ways. I don't feel like going home anymore. I think I'll walk around a bit more. After thinking a bit more, the fifth student decided to go to the park where she had been today. It was a small park, quite beautiful, but almost deserted, at least at that time of day. It was already evening and there were no people here. It's so beautiful here. Especially this lake. It's strange that there are almost no people here. I'll probably stay here until night, wait until everyone at home falls asleep, and then come back. The green-eyed girl was thinking about her not-so-happy life and therefore did not notice that some drunks were already walking towards her. There were 4 of them. The kunoichi noticed them when they were quite close. Wow! What a chick! Don't you want to have some fun with us, beauty? Naruto paced the room back and forth, occasionally ruffling his already shaggy hair. Hinata sat on the couch, quietly clenching her fists. Sasuke sat in a chair that stood near the sofa. Sit down already, he said irritably. Nothing will happen to your Sakura. She's not a little girl anymore. If you don't care, just sit quietly. She is a girl after all, and this is the first time we have stopped in this village for such a long time. I mean, we stopped before, but only for a few hours and didn't look around the village. What if she gets lost? Or did something happen to her? This is a village we are almost unfamiliar with, Uzumaki answered his friend in a raised voice. Naruto, she's a kunoichi. A kunoichi of the Leaf Village, so even if something happens to her, she'll cope. Sakura is pretty smart, and won't get lost. Calm down. Outwardly he was calm as always, but inside he realized that the anxiety for his teammate was slowly growing. Damn it, where is she? Maybe something really happened to her. Naruto is right, she is a girl after all, and we are, so to speak, in an unfamiliar village. And anyway, why am I worried about her? Hyuga sat, clenching her little fists, and thought about her own things. He's worried about her. What a fool you are, Hinata, if you thought that he stopped loving Sakura and that last night meant anything. He will never love you. Sasuke, you don't understand. She's not a stranger to me. How will I live later if something happens to her, and at that moment I'm sitting quietly at home? Unable to bear it any longer, the owner of the Byakugan jumped out and ran upstairs to her room. Hinata! What's wrong? The hero of the world shouted after her, surprised, but his question was ignored. Then the guy stared at his friend. What's happening to her? Oh, you're a fool, Naruto, Uchiha drawled, understanding the reason for the girl's change of mood. Go talk to her. But Sakura. I'll take care of her myself. Trusting his friend, the son of the 4th Hokage went to the brunette. When his friend went upstairs, Sasuke left the room, and then the house altogether. The guy from the market started searching, went into every shop, climbed into the most secret corners, sent out clones, but she was nowhere to be found. The anxiety for the pink-haired girl began to grow even more. Where is she? Maybe Uzumaki is right? Maybe something really happened. He was standing near some shop, but then it dawned on him where his teammate was and what adventures she had found on her pink-haired head. I'll kill you, was his only thought. Oops. What a chick. Don't you want to have some fun with us, beauty? One of the drunks said, grinning nastily. Would you like to be punched in the face? The medic got angry. Ha ha, but the girl has character, laughed the other one. This way it will be even more interesting for us to have fun, said the third. You'd better get out of here as soon as possible, otherwise I can't vouch for myself. Tsunade's student said sullenly, adjusting her gloves. Girl, I see you're very brave, but we'll quickly cool your ardor now. The 4th one added his bit. I don't have enough strength. Well, who's first? The kunoichi got ready. Pulling out a kunai, the first of the drunks ran at the green-eyed girl. Deftly dodging, she grabbed the guy by the arm and twisted it so that he screamed in pain and the weapon fell out of his hand. Just a little more, and she would have broken his arm. Oh, you're a bastard! Having pulled out the same weapons as their friend, all 3 ran at Haruno. But here too she deftly returned and quietly dealt with her. By the end of the fight, a few minutes later, all 4 were lying on the ground and howling in pain. Ugh! And I thought that you were at least Chunin. But you don't even look like Genin. I don't want to see you again. And I don't want you bothering the girls anymore, otherwise I'll find you and cut you into pieces. I think it's clear to everyone that I can do this? Why yes, the villains answered, stuttering and trembling. At that moment, Sasuke's clone appeared and pointed his katana at them. This action scared the boys even more and they began to crawl away faster. Boo! Sakura said, grinning. After that, the boys stood up and ran away. Unable to contain herself, the Bell medic laughed. Uchiha watched silently, but then he came up to her and grabbed her hand painfully, pulled her back and hissed. Stay here, right here. And wait for me. If you leave, I'll kill you. After these words his clone disappeared. Haruno stood in shock. What was that just now? Why is he so angry? What did I do wrong? Damn, that hurts. Damn, don't cry, Haruno, don't cry. She wanted to cry from the insult, but knowing that the brunette would come here now, she held back. The last of the great clan did not keep him waiting. He appeared in 5 minutes. Haruno, damn it! What are you doing? Why should I have remained silent and inactive? That's not why I'm here. Why the hell did you leave home without telling anyone, and why are you wandering around at such a late hour? What if they had been stronger? But they didn't turn out to be. And anyway, I'm not obligated to report to anyone, and especially not to you. We are a team and you must warn us about your actions. Where are these adjustments? The black-eyed man calmed down a little. They ran away, the girl answered sullenly. If I see you somewhere, I'll kill you. Sakura stared at her teammate in surprise. She couldn't understand the reason for his behavior. What does this mean? Was he worried, afraid for me? Oh no, that can't be. He doesn't give a damn about me. The last thought made her feel somehow cold and sad. She shivered. Are you cold? Asked the Snake Sannin's apprentice, noticing this. And without waiting for an answer, he pressed her to himself. The pink-haired girl was taken aback by this and wanted to move away, but his strong arms did not allow her to do so. Sasuke, let me go. Please. You don't like my hugs that much? She couldn't see the guy's face because she buried her face in his chest. That is, he did it. A chuckle was heard. Sasuke, I'm not comfortable. Let go, please. But you're frozen. I'm a shinobi and I'm used to it. Despite his reluctance, the guy still let his teammate go. Let's go home, she asked quietly. No, I suggest we go for a walk some more. Green eyes widened in surprise and looked at Sasuke. Noticing her reaction, he explained his motives. Naruto needs to talk to Hinata now. Naruto went up to the second floor and knocked on the door of Hyuga's room. There was no response. Then the blonde opened the door and stuck his head into the room. Hinata, what happened? She was sitting on the bed, her back to him. He saw her back, but at first he didn't realize she was crying. Only after looking closely did the guy notice that his girlfriend's shoulders were shaking. He immediately jumped up to her and sat down opposite her, squatting down. Tears streamed down her white cheeks. Hinata, what happened? Did I offend you? If so, how? She, no longer able to contain herself, sobbed and shook her head. Then answer, why are you crying? She shook her head again and started crying loudly. Uzumaki, like yesterday, pressed the brunette to himself and began to stroke her head. 5 minutes later she calmed down. Will you tell me what the reason is? She shook her head again. Hin, I won't leave you alone. Realizing that her beloved had called her, Hyuga was amazed. My eyes became cloudy again, a veil of tears appeared. I just know that we will never be. She never said the last word, she didn't dare. Understanding what the owner of the Byakugan meant, the hero of the world became sad. He definitely liked Hinata, but he was not ready to start a relationship now. I'm sorry, was the only thing he said, and getting up from the bed, he left the room. When the blue-eyed man left, he leaned against the wall near the door and heard even louder sobs than when he sat next to her and calmed her down. His heart sank from the realization that he was the cause of this angel's suffering in the flesh. There was a noise downstairs and, realizing that either Sakura or Sasuke had returned, the blonde ran downstairs. They were both there. Sakura-chan, where were you? I was worried. I was out for a walk. Sorry for making you worry. The pink-haired girl approached her friend and hugged him. For some reason, Sasuke didn't like this picture. At that moment, Hinata came downstairs, listening to the noise. Seeing Naruto and Sakura hugging, she felt her eyes getting wet again, but she quickly suppressed the urge to cry. Now she looked the same as Sakura did during the day, only a little worse. Apparently we didn't have a normal conversation, thought the owner of the Sharingan. Hinata! You probably have allergies too, let's go, I'll make you a mask. Seeing the girl's condition, Sakura moved away from her friend and ran to Hyuga. They went upstairs again, but this time to the medic's room. Haruno, as promised, made a mask, thanks to which the swelling goes down. Unnoticed, she added a sleeping pill to the brunette's tea, thinking that it would be better that way. And there, in Hyuga's room, she fell asleep. Shikamaru and Temari returned home late. First they were delayed by Gaara, and then they also stopped by 24-hour stores for groceries. The blonde had been living separately from her brothers for a long time. Her house was quite cozy, everything was in soft colors, flowers on all the windowsills. The hostess of the house led the guest into the kitchen and began to set the table. The dish is not bad, did you cook it yourself? The brunette said, chewing the food that the girl put in front of him. Yes, do you really like it? She asked, embarrassed. Yeah, it looks like my mother's cooking. By the way, how is she doing? She only recently recovered from the death of her father, although sometimes she cries in her room. Yes, it's not easy for your mother. I try to spend more time with her, but here's the thing. She demands grandchildren. Temari, hearing the guy's last words, blushed a little. Anan? You! Konoha's genius strategist stood up from the table and walked over to her. Maybe it's time to stop pretending? We're alone now and no one will see us. With these words he hugged the Kazekage's sister and pressed her to himself, inhaling the slightly forgotten scent. As always her scent began to act on him a little intoxicatingly. They started dating before the war, but were in no hurry to advertise their relationship. It seems Sakura suspected something, the mistress of the house said quietly. You noticed too? Oh well. She's not a gossip. And that's not as important now as the fact that I missed you very much. Maybe we should start fulfilling Mom's wish right now. I miss you too. Dog No exhaled, when her beloved's warm lips gently slid down her neck. And about grandchildren? Isn't it too early? No, just right, Nara said, reluctantly tearing himself away from the soft skin. And then he pressed his lips to the much-desired neck again, leaving crimson spots. Unable to restrain herself, the blue-eyed girl moaned and kissed Shikamaru herself. The next day, everyone who came from Konoha went to see the head of the Sand Village. At noon, everyone was in his office. Kankuro, Temari, and Matsuri were also present. Well? Now you're going to tell me why we're here? Uzumaki asked impatiently. Yeah, this is what the Hokage asked me to give you when you're all here. The red-haired man held out an envelope with a letter. Taking the envelope in his hands, Naruto opened it, and taking out the letter, began to read. What? What does this mean? Is it true? What is it, Naruto? It says here that there is no mission. We went here on vacation. Give it here. Not believing his friend, Sasuke snatched the letter and, having made sure that his friend was not mistaken, also fell into a stupor. For a while, there was silence in the room, but Gaara broke it. Everything written there is true. You are really here on vacation. Kakashi-san has long wanted you to rest, but you worked like hell, did not want to rest, so we agreed. But so that you do not sit around doing nothing, you will teach at our academy. How long will our vacation last? Asked Shikamaru. Month. Wow, what if something happens in the village? Kakashi-sensei didn't think about that? Naruto, I don't think you need to worry. You started using the Thunder God technique just like the fourth, Sakura smiled. So you don't need to worry. The words of the girlfriend calmed the guy down. Everyone went for a walk around the village. Everyone was thinking about their own. I think this vacation will do us good. Probably if it weren't for Kakashi-sensei, I myself wouldn't have gone on vacation. When we get back, I'll thank him. Sakura thought. Sakura-chan is right, but I'm still worried. The hero of the world worried. A month next to Sakura, and I like it. After we met in Kakashi's office and she hugged me, she didn't allow herself to do that anymore. In general, she acts like she fell out of love, I don't like this situation. I'll make her fall in love with me again. Damn, what are these thoughts? Why the hell am I even thinking about her? Do I really like her? No. It's just vanity. Or maybe. Such thoughts were spinning in the head of the heir to the great clan. I won't be able to watch Naruto-kun courting Sakura for a whole month without a break. Hyuga thought, almost crying. I will be indebted to the sixth for the rest of my life. I will use this vacation usefully. Next to Temari, Nara was looking forward to it. Will I really be able to be around Shikamaru normally? Gaara's sister, who was accompanying the village guests, rejoiced. From the next day, everyone started working. Sakura was asked to train the novice medics, Shikamaru explained to the genin how to best develop a strategy, Hinata showed pain points, Sasuke taught those who wanted to learn the art of katana, Naruto taught the kids at the academy his very first and simplest technique, shadow cloning. Everyone was pleased with their task. In the evening everyone went home. So how did you work? The restless blonde asked his friends. I liked it, the girls answered in chorus. Me too, it's not a dirty job at all, Sasuke said. Me too, Naruto smiled. They talked about their work the whole way and didn't even notice how they reached home. Hinata quickly cooked dinner, Sakura helped her, then they both went to bed. When the girls went to bed, Sasuke went outside, Uzumaki following behind. Hey Sasuke, where are you going? To breathe some fresh air. I'm with you. The guys walked a bit, and then jumped onto the roof of some house and sat down there. I didn't have time to ask you, how was your trip? Maybe something changed in your life? No, my life changed when Itachi was forced to kill our entire clan. What about you? I don't know, it seems to me that in our life something changes every day. You're probably right. Uzumaki, tell me, do you really not like Hyuga at all? Why are you asking such questions? It's just that we're friends, right? Well, yes. So why can't you answer? Well, okay, the Jinchuriki gave in. I like it. And what's stopping you from starting a relationship with her? I'm not ready for such a step yet. You're an idiot. Listen, what about you? Nothing. Don't lie. Maybe you like someone? Uchiha sat silently, still hesitating whether to tell his friend this. I may have a slight crush on. Sakura, the black-eyed man, glanced sideways at Naruto, fearing that he would start laughing at him. At first, his friend's face lengthened, then a smile appeared on his face. Now he'll wake up all of Suna with his laughter, thought the descendant of the great clan. But there was no laughter. Uzumaki hugged his best friend tightly. Sasuke, I'm so glad. This is just wonderful. And you? You won't laugh at me? No, of course not. What kind of stupid thoughts are these? Thank you, Sasuke said, realizing that he could still trust his friend with anything and he would support him. Chapter 8. Vacation is ending soon. So 2 weeks passed. Sasuke decided not to rush things for now. He was looking closely at his teammate. Sakura's figure has changed after all. And it's changed for the better, the brunette thought, watching the green-eyed girl prepare dinner. Today was the day off for both of them. Naruto and Hinata weren't home. Their day off was yesterday. Sasuke, Sakura called quietly, but he heard. Maybe you won't look at me so brazenly? I noticed. The guy grinned. I am a shinobi and it is typical for me. Not bad at all. But you know, I guess I won't stop. Why is that? Turning to face Uchiha, the pink-haired girl was indignant. Probably because you are in this room, you are the most pleasant thing to look at. Haruno was stunned. What was that? A compliment? I'll go, I still need to go to the market, she said, embarrassed, and ran out of the room. I thought I imagined it, but no. His character has changed. And his attitude towards me has changed. But I don't know if it's good or bad. She ran into her room and started changing from her home clothes to her day clothes. Just as she was putting on her bra, a brunette walked into the room. Sakura, maybe I can help, he began, but noticing that the girl was standing in her underwear, he stopped. Ahem, are you trying to seduce me on purpose? Haruno was taken aback by this statement, and by the fact that he was standing here in her room and his black eyes were leering at her figure. But after about 3 minutes she came to her senses and, grabbing the blanket, covered herself with it and blushed. Or maybe it's you who's spying on me? You perverted, obsessed maniac! Sasuke laughed and walked out of the room. His action, or rather his laughter, again put her into a stupor. After getting dressed, she jumped out of the window as quietly as possible. The 5th student ran to the market and there, having caught her breath, began to wander calmly around the bazaar, looking into almost every shop. Having filled her bags, she trudged home. Although, to be honest, the medic didn't really want to go home, because there was a man waiting there, thoughts about whom still made her blush because of today's incident. Sakura reluctantly walked home as slowly as possible. She still had half the way to go when she heard her teammate's voice almost right next to her ear. Why did you leave so quietly, Sakura? I wanted to help. The green-eyed girl had to make a huge effort not to scream at that moment. And only the fact that she flinched betrayed her fear. Slowly turning to face him, she looked into the guy's eyes. There was a smirk on his face. The black-eyed man clearly enjoyed annoying his teammate, who once wouldn't leave him alone, and now avoided him. They stood in silence, then Uchiha silently took the bags from her hands. Why are you carrying heavy things? In theory, the bags weren't heavy even for a girl. The descendant of a great clan just wanted to see her reaction. At first, the pink-haired girl looked at her teammate with bewilderment, and then, making an imperturbable face, she turned around and walked away, whispering as she went. Yeah, if only there was someone to ask. Didn't you want to give birth to an heir for me? The snake Sannin's disciple grinned. I was a child. Besides, you probably wouldn't want someone like me to be the mother of your children. Haruno replied, amazed at his sensitive hearing. Well, you don't know what might come into my head. I don't know, the girl nodded. But I've been annoying you since childhood. It's unlikely that anything has changed since then. Maybe I just stopped annoying you, but nothing more. Don't judge something without knowing it for sure. The medic just remained silent. Was that a hint? Did I really? No, that can't be. Why is he torturing me? I just came to terms with the fact that I could never be with him. Soon they reached home. The rest of the day passed quietly. Sakura locked herself in her room and did not come out until her friends arrived, and Sasuke did not disturb her. However, he did the same himself. Another week passed. It's a pity that the vacation is ending. I am very happy with it. But I also miss Konoha. It's just that when we return, we will probably rarely cross paths with Sasuke. Although, maybe it's for the best. Haruno was sad, lying in her bed and resting after a day of work. Who knew that through the wall, in another room, with the same thoughts? Only about Naruto, sat Hyuga. Their relationship improved a little, they began to spend more time together. And now, it is necessary to return, when they began to communicate, albeit a little, but still better. Gaara was sitting in his office sorting through papers when there was a knock on the door. Come in. The guy gave permission. A Konoha strategist appeared in the room. Gaara-san, I would like to talk to you. Let's start with you. After all, we fought together. Okay, I would like to talk to you. I'm listening to you carefully. The Kazekage put the papers aside. Anyway, let's not beat around the bush. I'm dating your sister. My vacation ends in a few days and I'd like to ask you to send her to Konoha. I don't want our relationship to get a break, even if not quite. I know I'm acting like an idiot, asking you about this now. Temari didn't want me to go to you, she was afraid that you would kill me. But I'm not going to hide behind her back. Let you kill me rather than me shaking in fear, hiding behind the back of my beloved. I'm not afraid, to be honest. A man should remain a man. The whole time Shikamaru was speaking, Sobuno listened silently, without interrupting. When he finally finished speaking, the guy smiled. This reaction surprised the brunette a little, but he didn't show it. Do you think I didn't know about your relationship? I noticed it a long time ago. Do you think I asked Kakashi-san to send you here to teach others strategy? I think we're not bad at that ourselves, although I can't compare to you, of course. But that's not what we're talking about now. You know, I could have provided you with housing, but I decided that it would be much better with Temari. I think you're worthy of my sister. And the fact that you came to me and told me everything straight out proves it once again. So you don't have to worry about your request. Nara took the news calmly, although in his heart he was very happy. Thank you, he said and left the office. Gaara sat contentedly. He called Matsuri and the girl immediately appeared in front of him. Matsuri, find Temari and tell her to come to me immediately. The brunette disappeared the same way she appeared. The head of Suna saw the blonde on the threshold 10 minutes later. Gaara, did something happen? She didn't know that Shikamaru would still go to her brother. No. The red-haired man shook his head. It's just that in a few days, everyone who came from the Hidden Leaf returns. You're going with them. What? But why? Don't you want to? Well, I have nothing to do there. You don't have to lie anymore. Your boyfriend came to me and told me everything. He asked you to go with them? So pack your things for now. Gaara, thank you. She walked up to her younger brother and hugged him. Chapter 9. Return. In 2 days. The day after tomorrow, everyone was supposed to go to Konoha. Gaara, having dealt with another pile of papers, decided to take a little walk. He was really tired of this daily routine. The guy went to the park, meeting ordinary residents and shinobi who worshipped him along the way. At first, he wanted to sit in the park, but then for some reason he was drawn to the forest located nearby. When he found himself in the forest, he began to wander through it, enjoying the fresh air and beautiful weather. Suddenly, not far away, he heard a female voice, and then a male one. Soon to Konoha. Are you happy about this? The Kazekage recognized this voice, because it was his sister's voice. Yes, I miss my native village. But I am even happier that you will go with me. Aren't you sad yourself? The second speaker turned out to be Nara. The guy recognized his voice too. To be honest, it's sad. This is my homeland. Don't worry, you'll get used to it here too, the brunette consoled his beloved. As soon as we return to the village, we'll definitely visit the king. The king? You mean the Hokage? No, I'm talking about Mirai. Who is this? The daughter of Asuma, my teacher. You call her a king? Did you really respect Asuma-san that much? Before he died, Asuma explained to me that the king is the children. Children are our future. I see. And Mirai, then, is even more of a king for you, right? Yeah, she's my teacher's heir. And also the third Hokage's granddaughter. And everyone loved the third, right? At this point, Gaara was about to leave. The red-haired man didn't want to eavesdrop. He turned around and walked a short distance away. But he could still hear the conversation, which is why he stopped. Yes, but we respected and loved every Hokage. Temari inhaled. What's wrong? Why are you sighing? I just remembered my father. He was also the head of the village. He was respected and probably loved. But I respected him only as a Kazekage. I didn't respect him or love him as a father. I hated him. The current village chief froze, waiting for the continuation. Of course, he did not want to eavesdrop, but he was interested in finding out why his sister hated her father. The blonde's next words shocked him. For what, if it's not a secret? Asked the strategist. Probably because he treated Gaara like that. After all, my younger brother was not guilty of anything. I could never understand my father. First, he sealed the one-tailed beast in him, and then he tried to kill him. That's why Gaara became like this. Fortunately, he met Naruto, who was able to share his pain. In addition, our mother died because of my father. After all, if he hadn't sealed the bijou in her, or rather in Gaara, who was in her, then my mother would have remained alive. My father ruined our entire childhood. Especially Gaara. All the children avoided him and, not wanting to communicate, called him a monster. I will probably never be able to understand what my younger brother felt, but I know that it was too hard for him. I couldn't even take care of him. My father forbade it. He ordered Kankuro and me not to have any contact with him at all. But it still didn't work out. And he made us one team only because Gaara never attempted on our lives, and the others were afraid of him. But despite everything, I always loved Gaara, Because he was the last thing that my mother left behind. Shikamaru listened to his beloved in silence. When she finished, he hugged her, noticing that her eyes were shining with tears due to unpleasant memories. But everything is fine now. So don't worry. Gaara is not alone now. And no one is stopping you from loving him and being there. That's it, don't cry. You are the Iron Lady. For the last words that Nara said, the Kazekage's sister pushed him and lightly hit him in the chest with her fist. Oh, what a problematic woman. Hey! Who are you calling a woman? Just because I'm 2 years older than you doesn't mean I'm old. Then he and the brunette both laughed. And Gaara, standing in shock for a bit longer, walked away. Naruto burst into Gaara's office without knocking. Gaara! We'll be heading back soon and I'd like to talk to you. About what? Asked the head of Suna, breaking away from his thoughts. In short, I think you've fallen in love, Uzumaki said bluntly. What? The red-haired man jumped up. He didn't think anyone would notice. What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Gaara, my friend, this is not nonsense. Don't lie to me, I won't leave you alone anyway. You've fallen in love with your student, the blonde smiled slyly. What's so noticeable? The Kazekage asked with annoyance, sitting back down. He simply realized that arguing was useless. Especially since he considered the Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed a close friend. No, but I noticed that, firstly, she is close to you. Secondly, you often look at her, in an unusual way. Well, she is close to me, firstly because she is my student, and secondly because she is one of the first who recognized me. And about the look. I thought it was completely unnoticeable. You're wrong, smiled the hero of the world. I advise you to start acting, otherwise they'll take you away again. The girl is pretty, said the friend, heading for the exit. I'll figure it out myself, the red-haired man muttered. Finally the day of return came. At the entrance to the village everyone stood and said goodbye to the chief. Temari was a little upset. But each of the brothers hugged her. They said that they would definitely visit her and that she should not forget them. This cheered her up, besides, she was going with her beloved. Everyone set off in the morning. In the evening they stopped to rest. Everyone went to bed. After making sure everyone was asleep, Hinata got up and walked to the lake, which was not far from here. After undressing, she began her training. She was so carried away that she did not notice that someone had come to the lake and was now watching her. That someone turned out to be Naruto. Uzumaki woke up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason, and for some reason he was drawn here. He watched her, fascinated. The guy stood quietly so as not to scare her. Yes, he remembered very well how about 5 years ago, also, only on a mission, he saw a beauty. Only then Kiba convinced him that it was a dream. But it turns out that it was not a dream at all. He had no doubt that it was the same girl. Only it was clear that she had grown. Her forms had become more rounded, especially her breasts had increased. But he still didn't understand who it was. And so the hero of the world stood and watched the beauty, who seemed to merge in a dance with the water, for several hours. At 3 o'clock in the morning the girl stopped her occupation and went to the stone on the shore. Having dressed quickly, she was about to leave, when she heard a voice. A painfully familiar voice. Stop! Turning around, Hinata saw Uzumaki running towards her. As soon as he ran closer, he recognized the beauty as his friend. Hinata? So it was you? Naruto-kun, what are you talking about? What do you mean, about what? That means it was you 5 years ago. And now it was you too. Did you see? The owner of the Byakugan asked, blushing rapidly. Sorry, it's just that you danced so beautifully that I couldn't take my eyes off you. And how long have you been here? Asked the gray-eyed girl, gathering all her will into a fist so as not to faint from shame. Well, the Jinchuriki scratched the back of his head. About a few hours. So you, all this time, were watching that I was? Hyuga asked, blushing so much that she could compete with the scarlet poppy flower, so much so that even in the darkness it was visible that she had blushed. Unable to bear so many emotions, she began to fall. The guy immediately flew up to her and caught her. Hey, Hinata, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? There was no answer. The brunette lost consciousness. What's wrong with her? She seemed to have stopped fainting when she saw me a long time ago. He wondered what had happened. He carried her a little further from the water and laid her on the ground, holding her head and hugging her. He carefully reviewed everything in his head, from the moment he came here. It was then that it dawned on him that the girl had been naked all this time, since he had seen her getting dressed when she came ashore. Blushing no worse than she was, but not losing consciousness, Naruto carefully leaned her head against the stone, and went to the water. He scooped up some water in his hands and returned. When the water hit the gray-eyed girl's face, she finally opened her eyes. Seeing the object of her affection in front of her, she did not immediately accept reality. For about a minute she couldn't comprehend what was happening, but then the realization slowly came. The brunette opened her unusual eyes even wider and blushed again. Hinata, the hero of the world, began. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to, you were just so beautiful, I was captivated. I didn't mean to. Naruto-kun, please let me go," she asked quietly. The guy did as she asked. "Let's forget about this incident and go to bed?" "Oh, okay." The couple, as agreed, went to bed. In the morning, the friends, who had woken up earlier, woke them up and set off again. Well, they didn't even suspect what had happened during the night. Chapter 10. How nice it is to be home. The heroes walked the rest of the way without incident. But everyone noticed that something happened between Naruto and Hinata. The guy kept glancing in her direction. As he thought, no one noticed. But on the contrary, everyone noticed. And Hyuga, first of all, since she often watched him. As soon as their eyes met, the brunette blushed deeply and turned away. Shikamaru decided not to interfere, considering that it was none of his business. Temari, naturally, was of the same opinion. Sakura decided that her friend could figure it out himself, he was not a little boy anymore. But Sasuke didn't have time for that at all. Now the Uchiha was trying to sort out his feelings, but still decided to talk to his friend when they returned. Several days passed quickly and unnoticed. And now, after a month of absence, the shinobi were approaching the main gates of the village. As always, they were met at the gate by Izumo and Kotetsu. "Oh, you're back." Kotetsu waved his hand welcomingly. "Greetings." "Welcome home," Izumo smiled. After greeting the Chunin in return, everyone headed straight to the Hokage residence. Knock knock. The sound tore Hatake away from his thoughts. Yes, come in." "Kakashi-sensei," said the blonde entering, the others following him. "We're back." "Well, I'm glad to see you." "Kakashi-san, I would like to talk," the genius said, holding the hand of his beloved, who was a little nervous. "About what?" "About Temari." "Ah, that's what you mean. Okay, but let's do it a little later? I have to take your reports now." Nara nodded. The guys all handed in their reports on the past vacation and left. Everyone, except for the strategist and the Kazekage's sister. Sakura was the last to leave. "Kakashi-sensei, thank you," she said quietly as she was leaving, but they still heard her. After everyone left, the sixth Hokage, Shikamaru and Temari began to fill out some documents regarding the presence of the Kazekage's sister here. Sakura walked down the street, heading home. "I miss Konoha," she thought with a smile on her face. Two silhouettes appeared at the other end of the street. It seemed like nothing special, there were a lot of people walking along this street, but these two people were very familiar to her. Noticing her friends, the medic quickened her pace. When they saw their friend, they also quickened their pace. "Sakura!" The blonde rushed to hug when they came close to each other. "Ino!" Harino croaked. "Let go, you're going to strangle me now." "That's not enough for you." She finally came back and doesn't even want to hug her friend. Yamanaka was indignant. Sakura laughed and hugged her friend tenderly. Yes, she missed her friends too. Sai stood silently the whole time. When Ino finally reluctantly let go of her best friend, the guy came up and hugged the pink-haired girl tightly. "We miss you," he said, letting the girl go. "Maybe we should go somewhere?" suggested the only female representative of the Ino Shikucho team. "Guys, I'm sorry, but I'm tired from the road. Maybe tomorrow?" "But, Sakura, we haven't seen each other for over a month." her friend protested. Ino, don't be selfish, Sakura isn't refusing, she's just asking to go later, the brunette pulled his beloved up. Okay, but tomorrow is a must. Of course, smiled the fifth student. They said goodbye and went their separate ways. Haruno was surprised by Sai's behavior, but she didn't bother. The girl was home in about 10 minutes. Hinata! The girl stopped and turned around. The object of her affections was running towards her. Naruto ran up to her and smiled. Naruto-kun? Did something happen? No, it's just, he blushed a little. Hyuga stared at the guy in confusion. Hinata, maybe we can go somewhere tomorrow? The brunette stood in shock. Did Naruto invite her on a date or something? Hey, are you serious? The kunoichi blushed. Yeah, so how is it? The Jinchuriki asked nervously. Yes, I agree. Then I'll come for you tomorrow. At 3. Oh, okay. She walked on as if in a trance, and Naruto ran off in the other direction. Hinata walked home a little slowly. That's why she got there only 15 minutes later, although she could have been home earlier. Did I do the right thing? But I wanted it myself, so there's no need to worry. Naruto had a hard time deciding to invite Hyuga somewhere. But he decided that since he liked the girl, there was nothing stopping them from starting a relationship. Otherwise, he would never get married and start a family until he was old. Sasuke, when he had just returned from his journey, was given a house. This house was not big, but not small either. Average, exactly what the brunette needed. After Pain's attack, his clan's estate was naturally destroyed as well. That's why he now lived in this house. Of course, Uchiha was upset that the estate was destroyed, but on the other hand, it would again bring back painful memories. Even more painful than when he began to live there alone, after the entire clan was cut out. And all because now, the only survivor of this clan knew the whole truth. And he was partly to blame for what happened, because Itachi was forced to kill the entire clan, threatening that if he did not do it, they would kill everyone themselves. And Sasuke too. He remembered his last meeting with his brother, and the fact that they were finally able to clarify everything made it a little easier. After Uchiha returned home from vacation, he went straight to bed. Temari entered Shikamaru's house and looked around. Not bad at all, she thought. Shikamaru smiled and spoke. Before this I lived with you, now you will live with me too. And your mother won't be against it? No, she won't be so lonely now. Footsteps were heard, and a rather pretty woman came out into the corridor. The blonde was standing behind the brunette, and because of this she was not visible. Shikamaru! You're back! I missed you so much, and who are you talking? But then she finally noticed the guest and fell silent, giving her son a chance to speak and explain. Hello, Mom. I miss you too. The guy came up to Yoshino and hugged her tightly. I want to introduce you to my girlfriend, he said, moving away and turning sideways to her. A girl? The brunette was taken aback at first, but then began to fuss. Why are you standing on the threshold? Go into the kitchen and we'll talk there. In the kitchen she set the table, and when she sat down they began to talk. Sorry, I didn't greet you right away. I just got confused, Dog Nose said somewhat apologetically. What are you saying? The strategist's mother threw up her hands. Let me introduce you already? Mom, this is Temari, my girlfriend. Temari, this is my mom. Mom, Temari will stay with us for now, do you mind? What? No, of course not. On the contrary, I'm glad. Well, that's great. At first the blonde was afraid shy, but then she somehow got used to it. She and Ashino really liked each other. And after an hour they were laughing together, drinking tea, and then began to discuss cooking recipes. Wow, even I didn't think they would find a common language so quickly. The guy thought, watching as his mother and the girl laughed again, and they seemed to have completely forgotten about his presence. Chapter 11. New mission. Everything went back to normal, to its place. Sakura returned to work at the hospital. Sasuke and Naruto were sent on missions. About 2 weeks had passed since everyone returned from vacation. Uchiha kept an eye on Haruno, but to be honest, he simply could not overcome his pride. The girl no longer ran after him, but seemed to avoid him. Now if she had hung on his neck like before, it would have been much easier. When did you manage to change so much, Sakura? Uchiha thought, heading towards the Hokage. Suddenly, a familiar silhouette appeared from around the corner. Oh, Sasuke, are you going to Kakashi-sensei too? Naruto asked, smiling. Yeah. I see you're in a good mood? Uzumaki just smiled in response. Won't you tell your best friend? The brunette chuckled. Naruto wanted to answer something, but then he saw Hinata walking towards the meeting. He immediately forgot about his friend being nearby, and in general about where he was heading. Hinata, hi! Are you also heading to the Hokage's residence? Yes. Hyuga nodded, blushing a little, but no longer stuttering like before. Their dates did them good. Uchiha smiled at his thoughts. As agreed, Naruto and Hinata went for a walk the next day after returning from Suna. So Uzumaki learned that the owner of the Byakugan was quite an interesting conversationalist. The girl more or less got used to the company of the blonde and stopped stuttering constantly. Now she only blushed sometimes and was embarrassed. Now they were dating, and all their friends were happy for them. Everyone noticed the changes in the behavior of both. The hero of the world completely forgot about his friend and completely switched to the girl. Sasuke was not affected by this at all, but on the contrary, it gave him the opportunity to be alone with his thoughts. But then a familiar pink head appeared nearby. Sakura, along with Kiba and Akamaru, was also heading to the Hokage. She was talking enthusiastically with the guy about something and sometimes laughing. Sasuke did not like this arrangement at all. And very soon he caught up with his teammate. Hey Haruno, are you heading to the Hokage too? Huh? The girl turned around, hearing a familiar voice. The smile immediately disappeared from her face. Yes. This behavior angered the last of the great clan even more. But he could not overcome his pride and therefore he moved forward with dignity, maintaining his sense of self-worth. 5 minutes later, everyone was in Kakashi's office. Shino was also there. Everyone was sent on a mission. There was an attack on a small village on the border of the Land of Fire. It would be fine, one team could have been sent there, but after some time the same thing happened to several more villages. And the criminals were strong. Each village was destroyed in an instant. The Hokage heard a rumor that an attack on the feudal lord of the Land of Fire was being prepared by these same criminals. So they sent 2 teams there. It took about 2 days to get there. We need a plan for what we're going to do when they attack, Naruto asked as he sat in a circle of friends. First, let's analyze again what we know, Sasuke suggested. There are 4 of these shinobi, Shino said. 1 woman and 3 men, Hyuga said. There was silence. Is that all? No, I remembered. The people of these villages said something about the elements. It seems that these shinobi don't use techniques, they attack only with the elements of nature, said Sakura. Well done, Sakura-chan. I completely forgot, Uzumaki smiled. Then, we will act like this. Sakura and Hinata will guard and if necessary, protect the feudal lord and his family. I, Naruto, Kiba and Shino will attack the enemies. We will develop a more precise plan during the attack. Damn, Sasuke seems like a normal commander, but why was Shikamaru sent on a mission at such an inconvenient moment? He could have come up with something better. The 9-tailed Jinchuriki thought with displeasure. At the moment of the attack, everyone was prepared. The girls immediately rushed to the feudal lord, and the guys went on the attack. Their plan did not work from the very beginning, since it turned out that the shinobi did use techniques. Of course, it was difficult, but not as much as during the battle with Madara. Hinata and Sakura still did not defend the feudal lord in vain, since one of the 4 still got through to them. The pink-haired girl parried the attack and prepared for the next one, but then a man appeared from behind and sharply injected something into her neck. The last thing the kunoichi heard was her friend's scream, and she felt herself falling. Once again, Hinata. You were defending a feudal lord, a woman was fighting with you, Sakura-chan fought off the attack, and then a man appeared from behind, he injected her with something and dragged her away. Right. Yes. But why do they need Sakura? Uchiha wondered. I'm more concerned about what's wrong with her, said the hero of the world. Kiba-kun, will you and Akamaru be able to track them? The brunette asked. Yes, I can smell her. Then we leave right now. The pink-haired girl woke up with a headache in some dark room. Her hands were tied. She was lying on a hard, cold floor. Damn, Sakura Haruno, how long are you going to be a burden to everyone? We need to break the rope and get out. The girl tried to gather chakra in her hands, but nothing came of it. It seemed like there was chakra, but something was blocking it. Then the door swung open and daylight rushed into the room. When the student's eyes adjusted a little, the fifth Hokage was able to see one of the feudal lord's attackers on the threshold. What, you can't gather your chakra? I heard her nasty voice and laughter. You don't have to try. Matsu injected you with a serum. Your chakra is blocked by it. So lie still and be glad that you're still alive. Why do you need me? Those two handsome guys are too strong. Brunette and blonde. Although the others are not bad either, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. You are our hostage. With you, we have a better chance of winning. Soon I think they will come. Who are you anyway? Why are you attacking innocent people? We serve Toku. They plan to conquer the whole world. And they decided to start with the Land of Fire, since it is the strongest country. Stupid, the green-eyed girl chuckled. What did you say? The woman approached the girl and kicked her in the stomach. To her surprise, the captive didn't make a sound. Well, yes, she didn't know that Tsunade's best student was in front of her now. Years of training were taking their toll. The angry woman kicked a few more times and with force. Blood flowed from Haruno's mouth, but she still lay silently. Rano! What are you doing? Get away from her! A man burst into the room. If Toku finds out, you'll be in trouble. He pulled Rana away from Sakura and led her away. If in 12 hours she is still with us, then believe me, she will definitely not leave us alive, was heard from the corridor. The man spoke without fear, because he thought that the captive was unconscious, but he was wrong. Why did you decide that? You didn't see how she destroyed everything in the feudal lord's estate. She got her powers on purpose. And in 12 hours the serum will wear off. Then explain to me why she is still with us. Her friends are slow. We left obvious traces to lure them into a trap, but they still won't come. Maybe we should kill her? Why did we even think they would look for her? Stop it, it should work. If they don't come in 10 hours, we'll kill them. Okay, Hiten. Damn, I have to get out somehow. I can't rely on the others. Is something wrong, Kiba-kun? Yes. Look, they clearly wanted us to find them. It seems to us that a trap has been set. About an hour had passed since Sakura woke up. She was still lying there, trying to figure out how to free herself. Her thoughts were interrupted by some noise. Then Hiten ran into the room and dragged Sakura somewhere. He dragged her out of the house and she found herself in front of her comrades. So you're caught. The man smiled. You bastard. What did you do to Sakura-chan? Uzumaki yelled. His girlfriend looked, to put it mildly, not very good. As soon as he started moving towards them, Hiten twisted the girl's arms so hard that a crunching sound could be heard, accompanied by a muffled scream. The blonde stopped. Dash one more movement, and not only the hand will suffer. Chakra. The block is gone. We need to act while we have the chance. I can't be a burden to them. A seal appeared on Haruno's forehead, and all the bruises and wounds immediately healed. She jerked sharply, hit the man in the stomach with her elbow and freed herself. The opponents were confused, and taking advantage of this, the fifth student began to attack. Her comrades did the same. As a result, the criminals, beaten, somehow managed to escape. Sakura-chan, how are you? Everything is fine. Explain to me why you didn't use this seal before? Were you waiting for us? I think you could have handled it here without us. Sasuke said. My chakra was blocked by some serum. They said it should last about 12 hours. Apparently, the serum was poorly made. Where are Hinata and Shino? They stayed to guard the feudal lord. An hour later, everyone returned to the feudal lord's estate, and there Sakura told everything she had learned while she was in captivity. Chapter 12. Punishment. About 10 days passed. Teams 7 and 8 guarded the feudal lord, fearing that the criminals would return. But their fears were not confirmed. which is why the shinobi were sent back home after a few more days. Sakura walked home tiredly after work at the hospital. There was a lot of work. In addition to patients, there was a lot of paperwork to sort out. The girl was exhausted after the whole day, and now she only wanted to rest. I wonder why those criminals disappeared after all? The fifth student suddenly remembered the mission she had returned from 3 days ago. They were probably afraid of us and decided not to risk it anymore. But something tells me we'll meet again. With these thoughts, she turned the corner and didn't even notice that someone had called out to her. Sakura. Having heard her name, the pink-haired girl turned around and saw Kiba running towards her. Oh, hi. Sorry, I was lost in thought. Where are you heading? Home, where else would I go? And you? Oh, then we're on our way. I need to go to the store that's near your house. I hope it's still open. Do you mind my company? Of course not, the girl smiled. The store is still open, it works until late, and why do you need to go there? Buy ingredients for the pills my sister makes for animals. I see. Listen, have you seen Ino? They told me she should be back from her mission today, but I was at work all day. I haven't seen her for over 2 weeks. I saw that she was just talking about you. Really? And what did she say? Well, if you want to be precise, I quote, I need to visit Lobastic tomorrow. I missed her so much. It was so boring on this mission that I wanted Sakura to be there and call me her signature. Pig. The green-eyed girl laughed, imagining the expression on her friend's face when she said all this. And it was at that moment that Sasuke came out to meet them and saw that the girl was laughing. Sakura, what a meeting! The guy said sarcastically, not understanding why he was angry. Sasuke, hello, a blush appeared on her cheeks almost imperceptibly. How are you doing? Uchiha asked, calming down a bit, pretending that Kiba wasn't there at all. Everything is fine, and you? It's fine. Well, I'm off. See you. When the brunette walked away, the guys continued on their way. Was it just me or was he nervous? Inuzuka asked. Well, I don't know, he seemed to behave as usual. 5 minutes later, Haruno was already home. It felt somehow sad, the house was quiet and no one was waiting. Sakura's parents went on a trip. Mabuki insisted on it, the woman was tired of sitting at home, she wanted new sensations. The medic, as soon as she got home, immediately went to the shower. She wanted to freshen up and wash away this fatigue. She spent about 30 minutes in the shower. Deciding not to bother with clothes, the pink-haired girl wrapped herself in a towel and went out. Oh, how good it feels after a shower. Such a pleasure, the girl said to herself, blissfully closing her eyes. Do you want me to show you what real pleasure is? Sounded in my ear. Tsunade's student screamed in surprise and, opening her eyes, turned around. Sasuke, what are you doing here? It seemed to me that we didn't finish speaking. Yes? And what is it that we didn't discuss? Haruno turned completely towards her interlocutor. The guy's hands immediately found themselves on her waist. So is it clear to you? Or should I continue? No need. Let me go and explain how you ended up here. I won't let you go. I'm a shinobi and breaking into someone else's house wasn't difficult for me. Why did you come? The Uchiha remained silent and, turning sharply, pressed the kunoichi against the wall and leaned his hands against the same wall. What are you doing? Let go. First answer me, what kind of relationship do you have with this dog owner? What difference does it make to you? The mistress of the house looked defiantly into the brunette's eyes. Answer, he added after a short pause, or I'll punish you. And how will you punish me? Put me in the corner? The green-eyed girl chuckled. She looked very calm, but her heart was beating very fast. I'll spank you, whispered the named guest. His left hand found itself on the buttock and squeezed it, and his right hand remained on the wall. Sakura's eyes opened wide, and before she could say anything, her lips covered the lips of the owner of the Sharingan. His tongue penetrated into the slightly open mouth, starting to rule there. And strangely enough, the girl felt good, so she awkwardly began to respond to the kiss, turning the guy on even more. Her arms wrapped around his neck. It was now that he realized that all this time, she was just trying to hide her feelings. She still loved him. Sasuke. Sakura breathed out when the last of the great clan pulled away from her lips due to lack of air. She looked the guy in the eyes. His gaze was glassy and seemed to be asking for more. He leaned down to her neck and gently pressed his lips to it, biting and then tracing the beating vein with his tongue. Haruno threw her head back from this gesture and couldn't hold back a moan. Sasuke pressed himself against her, and the medic felt something hard pressing against her stomach. Guessing what it was, she blushed. The brunette pulled away and, picking up the pink-haired girl in his arms, carried her to the bed. Carefully placing his burden down, he hovered over her. The snake Sanin's apprentice leaned towards her face and kissed her again, passionately and possessively. Pulling away again, he heard a groan of disappointment. The girl reached for the belt of her beloved's white shirt, and untying it, pulled off the now unnecessary thing. Immediately her hands reached for his pants, but a strong male hand lay on her hand and stopped her. Green, bright eyes stared uncomprehendingly into pitch-black eyes. "Are you sure you want this?" "I can wait until you're ready." "Sasuke," she blushed a little and looked away. "Can't you see that I'm ready? I've dreamed my whole life that this would happen to you, because I love you." The owner of the Sharingan pulled his hand away and allowed the kunoichi to do what she wanted so much, and even helped her with it. A moment later, he appeared in front of her only in his boxers. Considering that this was unfair, the Uchiha pulled the towel off Sakura, under which there was nothing. The girl immediately covered her small but neat breasts with her hands. "Sakura, stop it. What didn't I see there? Have you forgotten how I was in the shower with you? After all, I dressed you then. Believe me, you have absolutely nothing to be embarrassed about." He carefully removed her hand and began to examine her slender body. "You are beautiful." He wanted to please her. The guy grabbed the nipple with his lips and, biting it lightly, pulled it. He squeezed the other breast with his hand and pressed his finger on the pink pea. Moans were heard. She felt good. Never in her life had she experienced such pleasant sensations. Involuntarily, Haruno dug her nails into the guy's back so that the wounds bled. SSA about Shu. Having torn himself away from the girl's chest, the descendant of the great clan freed himself from the last item of his wardrobe. Sasuke spread the pink-haired girl's legs and got comfortable. "It will hurt a little now, but be patient, it will be fine later." The medic nodded and closed her eyes when she felt her beloved begin to insert his penis into her womb, naively believing that it would hurt less. A sharp push and he was inside. The owner of the Sharingan looked at the green-eyed girl, expecting to see a grimace of pain, but the expression on her face surprised him. The girl rolled her eyes and groaned. "Does it hurt that much?" "And no, Sasuke, I'm fine." Hearing these words, he began to move, slowly increasing the pace. The room was filled with moans and sighs. The girl, without noticing it, began to move towards him. Sakura tried to hold them back, but it didn't work at all. Sasuke, on the contrary, couldn't hold back. It was tight and cramped inside. Which is why the brunette was almost ready to experience an orgasm right away, but he wanted to please the kunoichi first of all. And then Sakura felt a current run through her body, her legs cramped up, and a firework of colors exploded in her head, so bright that everything that had been in the past seemed like a gray blur. When her pubic muscles began to pulsate and contract, Uchiha was no longer able to hold back and came along with the girl. Breathing heavily, he fell on the pink-haired girl and pressed her to the bed with his body. A minute later, he rolled over and lay down on the bed. "If you, every time, will punish me like this, then I am ready to remain silent for the rest of my life," she sentenced, pausing almost on every word. "I see you liked it?" The brunette grinned and turned his head. There was no answer, and he understood why. The fifth student fell asleep and did not hear anything. Pressing the girl to himself, the Uchiha joined her and departed to the kingdom of Morphus. Chapter 13. Relationships. Sakura woke up at lunchtime. At first she didn't find her beloved next to her, but hearing the noise in her shower, she understood why he wasn't with her. She stretched sweetly and yawned. Today is a day off, so there's no need to rush anywhere. She wrapped herself in a blanket and got out of bed. "Need to change the bed linen," thought the pink-haired girl, examining the bed and a small red stain on the sheet. The noise died down, and a few minutes later Sasuke came out of the shower. Are you awake already? I thought you'd sleep longer. Well, I slept well, the hostess of the house muttered, slightly flushed. Well, of course, the guy was standing half naked, with a short towel on his belt, which barely covered his not small dignity. How do you feel? Okay. I think I'll take a shower too, and in the meantime you, get comfortable, Sakura said and slipped into the shower. Uchiha just chuckled and, going to the bed, picked up his things from the floor. He waited until he was dry and only then got dressed. Haruno, like yesterday, came out about half an hour later, and like yesterday, wrapped in only a towel. Seeing the already dressed brunette in front of her, she blushed a little again. You look great, I could just pounce on you right now, he chuckled. And what's stopping you? The girl asked, blushing even more. I think everything should heal there. So, we'll continue in about 5 days. In the meantime, I want to eat. Maybe we should go to Ichiraku? I'm not in the mood to cook anything right now. We're out of food at home and it'll take a long time to cook. Okay, get ready then. Can't you leave the room? I'll get dressed? I can't. And if, please? Still no. I don't understand why you're embarrassed. I've already seen everything there. Realizing that the guy was not going to leave the room, the medic took her things and went to the shower. When she got dressed and came out, the owner of the Sharingan was still sitting on the bed. Well, that's it for me. Then let's go, I'm very hungry. Hinata, hi. The blonde waved his hand, approaching the girl. Naruto, hello? She turned around and smiled. Have you been waiting for me for a long time? No, I just came. Where are we going? Let's just take a walk and then we'll decide where to go. Let's. Blue-Eyed took Hyuga by the arm and they went for a walk around the village. They chatted about something nicely and sometimes laughed. Stopping near some cafe, Naruto moved away from the brunette and began to look at the menu that stood near the entrance as an advertisement. Such prices. Will I have enough money for at least one order? The guy was dumbfounded, completely forgetting that Hinata was standing next to him. While the Jinchuriki stood with his back to her, the brunette quietly activated the Byakugan and saw that there was very little money in Naruto's favorite wallet. Naruto, let's go to Ichiraku? I really want ramen, especially since you like it too, the girl approached the blonde and, placing her small palm on his shoulder, drew his attention to herself. Are you sure you want ramen? Yes, let's go. The owner of the Byakugan smiled. It's quiet, it's only lunchtime and there are no people in the small establishment. Hello, Tuchi-san. The girl who entered smiled. Can we have 2 bowls of ramen? Oh, Sakura, I haven't seen you for a long time. We'll do it now. Haruno sat down on a chair, Sasuke sat down silently next to her, and both began to wait for their order. It's a good thing we decided to go to Ichiraku. After all, old man Tuchi makes the best ramen in the world, a regular customer of the establishment said, and a few seconds later 2 more people entered. Naruto, and you decided to have some ramen? The brunette, who had been silent until now, smiled faintly. Yeah, Sasuke, Sakura, did you meet here by chance? There was silence. Sakura didn't know what to answer, and Uchiha didn't want to talk about their relationship that now connected them. But Ayam broke the silence. No, they came here together. Tuchi's daughter smiled slyly. I see. The hero of the world smiled slyly. Oh no, not that. These questions will follow now. And in front of strangers too. This is all I need, thought the black-eyed man. But to his surprise, no questions followed. Uzumaki only sat down next to him and ordered the same as his friends. Having refreshed themselves, everyone went outside. What shall we do? Asked the owner of the Byakugan. Uzumaki. There you are. Shikamaru's voice was heard. I finally found you. The 6th is calling you and Sasuke. Me and Sasuke? The blonde was surprised. Yeah, well, why did he send me to look for you? The guy grumbled, turning around and walking in the opposite direction. Hinata, I'm sorry, Naruto turned to the girl with a confused face. I promised that I would spend the whole day with you, but Kakashi-sensei. It's okay, we'll go for a walk some other time. Hyuga smiled. Sasuke, are you coming? Yes, right now. While the Jinchuriki was saying goodbye to Hinata, Uchiha approached Sakura and also began to say goodbye. I'll go, see you later. Okay. The pink-haired girl became a little sad. I wanted to ask. I'm listening to you. What kind of relationship do we have now? You're mine, he said and turned around. But before he left, standing with his back to Haruno, he said something else. And so that I don't see you giggling with that dog guy anymore. Her eyes widened in surprise, and then a sly smile appeared on her face. Or else will you punish me? That's not the word. When the boys left, Hinata and Sakura remained standing. Hinata, the green-eyed girl, called. I'm going to Ino's. I haven't seen her for a long time. Do you want to come with me? Huh. Yes, I do. Can we take 10-10 with us then? Certainly. So the friends first went home for 10-10, but she was not home. She was on a mission and the girls went to the store to Ino. Hello, pig, Haruno said as she entered the flower shop. Ino immediately pounced on her and nearly choked her with her arms. Lobastic. I missed you so much. Ino, the medic croaked. Let go, you'll strangle me. When the blonde finally let go of her friend, she also hugged Hyuga. Well, girls, tell me, what's new? Each of them started talking about the latest events, but Sakura kept quiet about how she spent the night. Then Yamanaka started talking about how her relationship with Sai was going. And the pink-haired girl was still surprised at how her teammate had changed. It seemed like just recently he was so insensitive, and now he was like a different person. The girls sat at their friends until the evening, gossiping and giggling, and then reluctantly went home. Evening. Uzumaki came to the mountain where the Hokage's faces were carved. This was his favorite place. He didn't want to do anything right now. Just sit here and think about life. He sat down on the ground and began to look around the village. Even Konoha's destruction couldn't break the spirit of fire in its inhabitants. It is also beautiful, even more beautiful. Uzumaki, are you here too? His friend's voice was heard. And I'm here. I'm usually here when I need to calm my thoughts and sort myself out, the blonde answered, turning his head and answering as if he wasn't surprised. What's bothering you? Sasuke walked up to him and sat down next to him. I don't know, everything seems fine, but something is wrong. I have a bad feeling about this. You're winding yourself up. What brought you here? I also wanted to think about it. I didn't ask Ichiraku, but there's no one here now. Maybe you can tell me what's going on with you and Sakura-chan? Yeah, he's changed. Before, he wouldn't have been embarrassed to yell at Ichiraku. The brunette was surprised to himself, but said something else out loud. We are together. What a turn of events. And how did this happen? I just realized that no one else would want to tolerate me. She didn't stop loving me, even after I almost killed her. She's very loyal. So why hesitate if I won't be with anyone else except Sakura anyway? And how did you realize that you care about Hyuga? Do you remember our conversation? I told you that I like her, didn't I? I just couldn't make up my mind. I was walking one day and those girls started following me again. Oh, they just terrorized me. I remembered how calmly I lived and the image of Hinata popped into my head. I decided not to hesitate until others realized that Hinata is a unique flower. The Jinchuriki fell silent. The boys sat in silence. But they didn't seem to need words. They understood each other without words. Perhaps this is what they call best friends. The week passed quickly. Sasuke was sent on a mission and the pink-haired girl missed him all week. In order not to be sad, she worked hard. Today was a difficult day. Several seriously ill people were admitted to the hospital. Tsunade herself was present at one of the operations and helped Sakura. Oh, what a day it was! We did a good job, the girl thought as she left the hospital. Sakura. Tsunade-sama? Did something happen? No, I just wanted to say that you, as always, did a great job. You know, during all the time I trained you, I never once regretted taking you as a student. You justified yourself as a student of the 5th Hokage and the legendary Sannin, the busted blonde smiled. She was a little tipsy as always, but she spoke sincerely. Well, he is a worthy teacher. After saying goodbye to Tsunade, Haruno headed home. Already near the house she met her beloved. How long were you at work? Sasuke. A smile lit up the green-eyed girl's face. She wanted to hug the brunette, but she was afraid that she would be an annoying girl in his eyes again. Are you back from the mission? In the morning, I was resting all day. So in the evening I decided to visit you. Didn't you miss me? Maybe we should go home? Well, let's go. They entered the house. The girl went into the kitchen and began to set the table. Uchiha sat at the table and silently watched her. You look broken. Did something happen? No, it was just a hard day. Why are you setting the table? Do you want to eat? No, I'm not hungry at all. But you are my guest and I am obliged to feed you. I'm not hungry. Let's go, I'll give you a massage. The kunoichi blushed and nodded. The couple went into her bedroom. The guy told her to lie down on the bed, and the medic lay down. The owner of the Sharingan lifted her red blouse and carefully began to knead her back and neck with his hands. Sakura was so tense that when the brunette began to massage her, she forgot about everything and moaned with pleasure. Naturally, these moans excited him and the night ended very violently. Chapter 14. You again? Morning. Konoha is still sleeping. It's already light. It's 7 in the morning. Soon the village will slowly begin to wake up. The sun illuminates the entire area, sometimes penetrating into houses. A ray of sun also penetrated the house of Tsunade's student, and woke up the young man who was sleeping next to the mistress of this house and hugging her. Sasuke closed his eyes tighter, naively assuming that this would help get rid of the annoying ray and prolong his sleep. A minute later, half waking up, he realized that it was useless and sat up in bed. The guy looked at his watch and discontentedly turned his gaze to the snoring Sakura. Immediately his gaze warmed. Golden rays hit her face, which made her stir and mutter something. Uchiha covered her with a blanket, and getting out of bed, went to the window and pulled the curtains, then went to the chair on the back of which his clothes were hanging and began to get dressed. It's only 7 in the morning. If Kakashi doesn't give us missions today, I'll spend the day with Sakura. She seemed to say yesterday that she had a day off. The brunette thought as he went outside. The Uchiha walked slowly along the streets of Konoha, which was slowly starting to wake up. Lost in thought, he didn't even notice that he was passing by his best friend's house. The door opened and Naruto flew out of the house as if scalded and almost knocked Sasuke off his feet. Oi, Uzumaki! Where are you rushing to? Oh, Sasuke, it's you. I'm going to see Kakashi-sensei. He asked me to come see him at 8 today. So where are you rushing to? Don't you know that Kakashi simply loves to be late everywhere and always? The great clan smirked. Well, actually you're right. I completely forgot about this habit of his. The blonde scratched his head. Perhaps we can come there later. And what are you doing here so early? Well, I decided to take a walk and breathe some fresh air. The boys went together to get some fresh air, and when they reached the Hokage's residence, the Jinchuriki left and Sasuke went on. After walking a little more, he returned to Sakura's house. When he went to the bedroom, the girl was not there, but he heard the noise from the shower. Without thinking twice, he undressed and also went to the shower. The pink-haired girl stood with her back to the door, and therefore did not see him or hear him enter because of the noise of the water. The guy had already entered the shower stall and put his hands on Haruno's waist. This time she only shuddered and turned her head in his direction. Sasuke, what are you doing here? I came to wash myself, Uchiha whispered in the green-eyed girl's ear. Her skin was covered in goosebumps, her breathing quickened. The brunette bit the kunoichi's earlobe and his hands crawled up and squeezed her breast slightly, causing a moan to escape her lips. This provoked him even more and he began to cover her tender neck with kisses. SAS. Sasuke, maybe, not here. No, I want it right here. The girl turned to face her beloved, and he saw that glassy gaze again. Her parted lips seemed to be asking for a kiss, so a second later her soft lips covered the slightly cracked ones, merging in a passionate kiss. When she began to run out of air, the pink-haired girl tried to pull away, but the black-eyed man did not let her do this, deciding to torture her. And only when he himself began to run out of air, and Sakura was almost suffocating, he let her go, again returning to her neck. Haruno threw her head back and moaned again. Involuntarily, her hands began to stroke his broad shoulders, then go lower, outlining circles first on his strong male chest, and then on his abs. Now moans began to escape from his lips too. Both did not want to wait any longer, and pressing the girl against the wall, Uchiha threw her legs over his waist and abruptly entered her. The medic screamed with pleasure, and Sasuke began to move, gradually increasing the pace. The pink-haired girl involuntarily began to move towards him, but then the brunette slowed down and began to move very slowly. He decided to torture Sakura, and she moaned even more, as if asking not to torture. Then he switched to a fast pace again, but as soon as she began to adjust to him, he immediately began to move slowly again. So the guy tortured Haruno a few more times, but then he finally stopped. And then, feeling the approach of orgasm, Sakura threw her head back and hit. At that very moment her eyes darkened, but not because she hit, but because of the pleasure she experienced. A wave passed through her body and the girl went limp, still in euphoria. A minute later, Uchiha joined her, and the medic felt something warm spreading inside. "Are you okay?" Sasuke asked, breathing heavily. There was no answer. The green-eyed girl only smiled blissfully with her eyes closed. The guy, still holding Sakura in his arms, got out of the shower and went to the bedroom, then put his burden on the bed and lay down next to her, covering her and himself with a blanket. "You have a day off today, right?" The brunette spoke again. "Yes." "What?" "I wanted to spend this day with you. Have you forgotten? Today Konoha celebrates the first Hokage's birthday." "Oh yeah, I forgot." "Well then, let's celebrate it together." Evening. The blue-eyed blonde stood near the Hyuga estate and waited for Hinata. The girl didn't keep him waiting long and came out about 5 minutes later. Naruto's jaw dropped. The brunette was wearing a lilac-colored kimono, light makeup on her face, and her hair was pulled back into an intricate hairstyle, from which a few strands had escaped and framed her pretty face. "Hinata, you are amazing." "Thank you," Hyuga muttered sheepishly. They took each other's hands and went for a walk around the village, which today was shining brighter than usual. Walking along the streets of Konoha and rejoicing with the villagers, the couple met many acquaintances, and every passerby smiled at them. Finding themselves with a group of friends in a small restaurant, Naruto at first did not want to drink, but then they persuaded him and he drank a little. After some time, Sasuke and Sakura also ended up in the same restaurant. Almost everyone drank, only Temari did not drink for an unknown reason. The morning was difficult, everyone had a headache. Sakura woke up in her bed, but Sasuke was not there. She dealt with the headache quickly and got out of bed, wandered to the kitchen. Her throat was dry, so Sakura poured a glass of water and drank it down in one gulp. She wandered around the house and realized that her beloved was not there. "Kami-sama, I didn't even try to remember what happened yesterday. Where did Sasuke go?" There was a knock at the door, then again, very insistently. Haruno hurried to open it, and Uchiha himself was standing on the threshold. He silently entered the house and immediately headed to the kitchen. Although he had already drunk before, he was still thirsty. "Sasuke, where have you been? If you haven't forgotten, I have my own house. That's where I spent the night today." "But why? Does it seem strange to you that I spent the night at my own home?" "No, but I just got used to you spending the night at my place lately. You get used to good things quickly. Why are you so rude? And you don't remember? What are you talking about? I asked you not to giggle with that dog owner anymore, and yesterday you practically hung on his neck." Pictures and events from the previous evening slowly started to pop up in her head. Yes, she really did laugh with Kiba yesterday, but Sasuke was exaggerating, because she didn't pester him at all and laughed with Hinata and Ino at his jokes. "Sasuke, stop it. I didn't throw myself at him. Stop being jealous. I only love you." "What? Who's jealous?" "I'm not jealous, I just don't like sharing." Haruno's face changed and his gaze seemed to dim. His words cut his ears again, or rather, the words he didn't say destroyed the peace of his soul. "Well, here we go again. Once again I told him that I love him, and he goes on about his own. What's wrong with you? You don't like that I'm not jealous?" The brunette grinned, noticing the change in the pink-haired girl's mood. "No, I'm glad. I'll go to Ino now." "Ino? Didn't you say yesterday that you wanted to spend this day with me?" Her words didn't convince the guy, and when she said about Ino, he became even more suspicious. What did I say wrong that your mood got spoiled? Nothing. You thought I was in a good mood, my head just hurts a little. And as for the fact that I promised to spend this day with you and didn't keep my promise, I'm sorry. I just promised her yesterday. Fine, Uchiha got angry. I'll spend this day with one of those girls who run after me. Come on, come on. Go, the medic rolled her eyes. The brunette stood up from his chair and silently headed for the exit. Sakura remained in the kitchen. In fact, she lied, she didn't promise anything to the blonde, she was just offended by him. 10 days passed. Sasuke and Sakura still hadn't spoken to each other. This time, she was sent on a mission, where the kunoichi stayed for about 6 days, and when she returned to the village, she was told that Sasuke was currently on a mission. Of course, this upset her, but the girl tried not to attach much importance to it. She hadn't been feeling well lately, and now she had no time for Sasuke. This morning she felt especially bad, her head hurt badly, she felt weak and her skin was pale. Haruno got up and barely got ready for work. She walked to the hospital very slowly and, as soon as she got there, she went to Tsunade. She knocked several times and only on the 4th time did she hear an answer. Come in. A disgruntled voice was heard from the other side. Sakura pushed the door and saw the teacher's sleepy face. And Sakura, is it you? What's wrong with you? You don't look well. Tsunade-sama, I'm sick. I wanted to take a few days off. Come here. The pink-haired girl obediently approached the woman. Tsunade stood up from her chair and put her hand on the student's forehead. You're all burning up. You have a fever. Go home and don't come back until you're cured. Thank you, Tsunade-sama. Having said this, the kunoichi left her teacher's office and went back home. On the way, she met Ino, who had firmly decided to take care of her friend. They also walked slowly to the house, and when they finally got there, Yamanaka put Sakura to bed, and Sakura herself ate several pills, self-made, and fell asleep. Closer to 3 o'clock, someone came to her and began to persistently knock on the door. The medic was still asleep, and so that she would not wake up, the blonde hurried to open the door. Sasuke was standing on the threshold. Ino? The guy was surprised. What are you doing here? I would like to know the same thing from you. I came to see Sakura, where is she? Come in. The girl led him into the house and led him to the kitchen. Sakura is sleeping now, so you'll have to wait a little. Sleeping? It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon, why is she still sleeping? I got sick. What? The brunette tensed up. A common cold. Have you come to court? Yes. I'll look after her myself, and you can go. But... Ino, go, we can handle it ourselves, thank you. The owner of the house appeared in the doorway, wrapped in a blanket. Okay. Yamanaka sighed and, walking up to her friend, hugged her, and then left. All this time, the owner of the Sharingan sat silently and spoke only when they were alone. You look bad. Thanks for the compliment. She didn't have time to finish. Noise, rumble, and shouts were heard in the street. Without thinking twice, both of them jumped out of the house and jumped onto the roof. A not very pleasant picture appeared before their eyes. Several shinobi were smashing the village. These were the same shinobi who attacked the feudal lord. And they were led by an ugly man. Sakura rushed there, and Sasuke followed her. Naruto was sleeping peacefully when he heard a crash that woke him up. The guy jumped up and couldn't figure out what it was. He was starting to think that it was just a dream, but then the crash was repeated, and Hinata ran into his room. She stayed with him yesterday, stayed up late, and Naruto persuaded her to stay. He put his beloved in another room. The couple went to bed in the morning, and so they were both sleeping now. And so, when the crash was repeated, she rushed into her beloved's room. Naruto! What's going on? I don't know. Jumping out of bed, the blonde quickly got dressed and ran out into the street, Hyuga after him. What Uzumaki saw, he also didn't like, and the guy immediately ran into the thick of it. On the way, he and Hinata met Shikamaru. Shikamaru! Where are the residents? They are being taken to a safe place. Who is attacking the village? According to Sakura, these are the same shinobi who attacked the feudal lord. At the head of the attackers was the same Toku that Reno had spoken of. The man was not very tall, with gray hair and a large scar on his face. Each of these shinobi used natural elements. So, the village was burning in some places, was flooded in others, and was generally half destroyed, which greatly angered Naruto and his friends. Uzumaki quickly found enemies and began to attack. The others did not lag behind. The blonde took on the main one, and Sasuke, Sakura, Hinata and Shikamaru his subordinates. Everyone noticed that this time the opponents were stronger than last time. Other shinobi also appeared on the battlefield. Of course, there are no quick victories, and our heroes had to work hard, but they were still able to protect their village. Commentary on Chapter 14. You again? I apologize for the fact that the end of the chapter is described in such a short detail. It's just that inspiration left me for a while. Chapter 15. 8 years later. Two months later, Konoha was completely restored. The enemies, deprived of their power, were sent to prison. Today was a sunny day, perfect weather to walk and admire the beauty of the village. Naruto invited Hinata on a date. He brought the girl to a small clearing and had a picnic. The date was going pretty well. Hinata, the guy stuttered and took a deep breath. His face showed that he was nervous. Hinata sat silently, so as not to disturb her beloved's concentration. Finally, he spoke again. I thought about everything for a long time and finally decided. Will you marry me? For a moment she thought she had gone crazy and that everything that was happening now was not true. Shaking her head, she looked ahead and made sure that everything that was happening was real. What did he say? Did he ask me to marry him? I can't believe it's true. But it's not an illusion, is it? You know, Naruto, this all seems so unreal. It seems to me that this is some kind of illusion and the reality will be terrifying, but if it is an illusion, then so be it. Illusion or reality is not important. What is important is that we are together. Yes, I will be your wife, the girl answered. The answer was long, but neither she nor he cared. All Naruto heard was the word yes. He hugged the brunette. Now all the worries, and everything in general, faded into the background. She said, yes. Now, when he would return home, he would not be sad and lonely. She would be waiting for him at home. His beloved. Peace was restored in his soul, and they sat silently in the middle of the clearing and hugged. Sakura got up early in the morning and, having nothing better to do, started a general cleaning. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, and the pink-haired girl had almost finished cleaning. She sat down on a chair in the kitchen and suddenly remembered Sasuke. Now he was on a mission again. He was sent to the Sand Village. Probably, not a day went by that she didn't remember the day when he said that he loved her. It was a week after the village was attacked. In the battle, Haruno, because she was not feeling well, was seriously injured and ended up in the hospital. She lay unconscious for 2 days. And when she woke up, Uchiha came to her. Sakura, how are you feeling? It's normal. Only the body hurts and the cut. The girl pointed to the cut on her hand. Tsunade-sama forbids the use of chakra. It will pass soon. The brunette smiled barely noticeably. Listen, I couldn't bring myself to tell you this, but after you almost died, I realized it was time. Anyway, you always say that you love me, and I wanted to say that it's mutual. At that moment, the green-eyed girl forgot about all her bruises and the cut, about everything in the world. Probably, nothing in the world seemed so impossible as these 2 words addressed to them, to those to whom she gave her heart. At first, the medic fell into a stupor and stared at one point. Then, when Sasuke called her, it was as if a bucket of ice water was poured on her head. Sakura did not notice how tears were running down her cheeks, and reached out to her beloved. He leaned forward and, lightly pressing her to himself, kissed her forehead. 8 years have passed. Some of our favorite heroes have had children. The first to make everyone happy were Shikamaru and Temari. They had a son, whom they named Shikadai. His character was like both his father and his mother. Lazy, smart, serious, and sometimes something slipped into his behavior that was very reminiscent of Temari. But this became clear when he grew up a little and began to study at the academy. His appearance is also almost completely like Shikamaru's, only the shape and color of his eyes are like his mother's. Ino gave birth to Sai's boy Inogen at almost the same time as Temari. You can tell right away that he is his parents' son. Blue-eyed, red-haired, his hair is tied in a small ponytail on the side. He wore a suit like his father. The boy was obedient, respected his parents, and was afraid of Ino. He also honors the traditions of the Yamanaka clan. Not much time passed and Sasuke and Sakura had a daughter. They named her Sarada. The girl grew up serious, but was friendly with her parents. Hinata gave birth to Naruto's child almost at the same time as Sakura. The boy was named Boruto. The boy looked a lot like his father, only his hair was slightly different. And his character was all like his father. He often did all sorts of dirty tricks to get Naruto's attention. A year later, the couple had another daughter. Himawari looked more like her mother. The girl was almost a copy of her mother, only the stripes on her cheeks and blue eyes were like her father's. She was very kind and inquisitive, and the girl also loved her brother very much. For months after Hinata gave birth to her first child, Choji had a daughter, Cho-Cho. Dark like her mother and plump like her father. By the way, Choji and Karui got married very suddenly. No one expected it. Shino began working at the academy as a teacher. Kiba opened his own dog kennel. He was in no hurry to get married, although he often glanced at his assistant. When Uzumaki's son was 3 years old, Naruto became the 7th Hokage. Konoha celebrated for about a week. Surely, every villager had long since recognized him and was sincerely happy that the hero who saved the world became the leader of the village. Dad, let's go outside. The weather is so good. We can play snowballs. The children ran into the room, and Boruto began to persuade his father. Boruto, Himawari, dress warmer then, otherwise you might get sick. Hinata looked at her family, looking up from knitting a sweater for her daughter. Mom, why don't you come with us? The children began to persuade their parents in one voice. It wasn't often that they managed to spend time together. And all this was because of Naruto's busy schedule. Work took up a lot of time. Boruto always got angry and upset because of this, and therefore in the rare moments when the elder Uzumaki was free, he tried to persuade him to spend time with his family. Okay. Naruto smiled at the children and, squatting down, hugged them. Let's go. And Mom? Himawari asked with hope in her eyes. Mom is with us, right, Hinata? Naruto, still smiling, looked at his wife. The girl smiled back and nodded. Hooray! The children shouted in unison. A girl of about 8 was sitting in her room and looking out the window. She sighed sadly and turned away, looking at the wall clock. She was waiting for her dad, who had been absent for 3 weeks already, and during this time she had managed to miss him. Besides, her mother said that he would be gone for about another week. This upset her even more. Sarada, the door opened, and Sakura appeared on the threshold. The girl turned around, and the pink-haired girl frowned, noticing the sadness in her daughter's eyes. Let's go have lunch, and then we'll go outside. Outside? The girl was surprised. It seemed like they weren't going anywhere today. Why? Haven't you seen how beautiful the weather is outside? We can play snowballs. The medic smiled. Sarada was even more surprised and blinked rapidly, but then she smiled back, and it was clear that her mood had improved. The girl ran into the kitchen after her mother and began to eat enthusiastically. When they finished, they dressed warmly and went outside. Mom, let's make a snowman? Suggested the little Uchiha. Sakura agreed, and they got down to business. First, the medic made a small lump, and then began to roll it on the ground, turning it into a big one. Sarada ran home for carrots, and gave them to her mother so that she could attach a nose to the snowman. They made eyes out of pebbles. Cheerful shouts and laughter were heard nearby. Then Boruto and Himawari ran out from around the corner, bursting into laughter, and after them, Hinata and Naruto walked out slowly, holding hands. Noticing Boruto, Sarada wrinkled her nose in displeasure, but still greeted him in response when the Uzumaki approached. Oh, Sakura! And you're out for a walk? The Hokage waved his hand, seeing his friend. Sakura waved back and smiled. She was glad to see friends. The adults stood there for a while and talked, until the children started asking to play with them. The head of the Uzumaki family was the first to attack. He threw a snowball at his son and, as they say, off we go. In the midst of the fun, a voice was heard, and everyone froze. "What's going on here?" Sasuke asked, confused. Everyone turned to where the sound was coming from and saw the Uchiha. Even Naruto was surprised to see his friend. He had been expecting him to arrive in a week. "Dad!" Sarada ran up to her father and hugged him tightly, putting all her strength into him. The brunette picked up his daughter and kissed her, then lowered her to the ground. "And here we are, playing snowballs," said the medic. "Shouldn't you be on a mission now? You said you'd be back in a month when you left." "I managed to finish the mission early, and I decided to make a surprise." "A surprise, you say?" "We have a surprise too." Uzumaki narrowed his eyes slyly and suddenly threw a snowball right into his friend's face. "Oh, you!" The owner of the Sharingan shook the snow off his face, bent down, and quickly molded a snowball, which flew into the Hokage's face. But Naruto was ready for this and dodged, which is why it hit Sakura. But the blonde did not expect that a snowball would fly at him from his wife's side. And then the children joined in. The commotion began again. "Do you want anything?" The medic sat down next to her husband. "No, has Sarada fallen asleep already?" "Yes." Sasuke, without thinking twice, pushed his wife onto the sofa and hung over her. "Sasuke, what are you doing? What if Sarada wakes up?" The girl looked anxiously into the black eyes. "She won't wake up. If she falls asleep, she sleeps all night." Having said this, he leaned over and covered the pink-haired girl's soft lips with his own. "Maybe we should at least go to the bedroom?" Sakura asked after the brunette pulled away. Ignoring her question, he leaned down again and softly kissed her neck. The medic tried not to moan. "I miss you. As you can see, so do I." The owner of the Sharingan smiled. Naruto walked into the bedroom and lay down next to Hinata. "Fell asleep?" asked the girl, looking at the blonde. He nodded and hugged his wife. "Yeah, they love fairy tales. They didn't fall asleep until I finished reading it. It was a good day, wasn't it?" "True." The former Hyuga agreed. "It seems like each of us was happy. And Sakura-chan was clearly in a good mood today, and after Sasuke-kun came, her eyes lit up with happiness. And Sarada too. I think we understand each other. Sasuke-kun is also constantly busy or on missions. And you are all about work. We all miss our family heads, after all." "I know," Naruto smiled guiltily. "But I'll try to spend more time with you, as much as possible. And Sasuke should be given a vacation, don't you think?" "I think that would be good. Then I'll talk to him tomorrow. Now let's go to bed. Good night." "Good night to you too, my love."